Welcome to the Musicians Creating Prosperity podcast. Today we're tackling how you can realign and achieve your 2024 music business goals so that you can finish the year and feeling strong and happy. I'm going to share with you the best practices for how you can ditch the things that are no longer necessary and create laser focus so you know exactly what to do and how to do it. Remember to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Hit on the bell icon and, of course, leave us a review and share with anyone that you feel could benefit from this podcast. Let me ask you this. Have you set a lot of goals at the beginning of the year? Did you start January feeling accomplished, feeling excited, full of ideas and things you wanted to accomplish? If you're like most people, chances are by this time of the year, as we are now in the second half, you may feel that you are underperforming. You may feel that all the things you set to put in place are not where you want them to be. And that can creep up some feelings of imposter, some feelings of just not deserving or feelings of unworthiness. And that is not going to help you get to where you need to be. So today we're going to talk about ways that you can realign, reassess your goals, and perhaps create a new direction that will get you to actually feel accomplished in the process of going after your 2024 goals. You can finish the year knowing that you give it your all, you did everything you could, and that you achieved not the goals that you established, but maybe better goals at this point. So let's talk about this step. The first thing is to maybe look back at everything you set to accomplish, which it's good that you did. If you didn't set goals, that's something we're going to need to really tackle because you cannot achieve things if you're not putting things in place, right? So number one, my hope is that you did set some goals and that you established things that you wanted to accomplish in 2024. And that needs to be the step one place. But also keeping in mind that as you pursue these goals and go about it throughout the year, it's important to remain flexible because you're going to learn new things. You're going to have experiences. You're going to meet different people. You're going to have challenges to overcome. And chances are the goals that you set out in place in January have evolved now as you are in the second half of the year. So being willing to reflect on how you can change the goals and adapt them to what you actually want. And most importantly, asking yourself if the goals you set yourself in the first place are actually your goals. You see, oftentimes we allow external desires, external information to inform our goal setting process. And we're putting things in the radar, we're putting things in place, we're setting goals that are not really our goals to begin with. Maybe they're goals from people around you that want to see happen for you. Or maybe they're goals of people that you've seen in your environment that you emulate and that you admire and that you think you want to do those same things because you see other people do them. And so step one is being true to yourself around your goals in the first place. Are your goals really yours? And if you realize that perhaps they're not, then this is your wake-up call, right? This is your moment to reflect back and say, well, maybe it's time to be more honest with myself and establish goals that I really, really believe are mine. And not only that, but also, what are the reasons for your goals? If you're unclear on the why behind each goal, that's also going to be a foundational step to make sure that you are true to what you actually should be doing. Again, if you don't have that clear why for each goal, whether it's a financial goal, whether it's a business goal, whether it's a health goal, whether it's a relationship goal, asking yourself the deeper reason why you have that goal in the first place is going to be a great way for you to even see if it's truly a desired goal or if it's maybe something you just had superficially, you're not really true to yourself. Now, let's say those goals are in alignment. They are truly yours. You're very, committed to them and you're not where you want to be. Well, step one is looking at your schedule, looking at how you spend your time and putting those goals next to each other. You see, one of the things I've found is that there's a lack of congruence. And I've checked on myself on this a lot. It's being able to say, what are my goals? Can I create maybe a list of 3 to 5 primary goals and then comparing those with what my calendar reflects? As the saying goes, show me your calendar and I'll tell you what your priorities are. You may want things in life, but if you're not putting them in your calendar, if you're not scheduling those things for them to happen, chances are that's exactly why you haven't achieved them so far and why you're so off track. It's simply because your desires are not meeting your actions. So a great way to reassess and recalibrate and realign your goals is taking a hard look at your existing calendar. How are you spending the time in the last 4 weeks, right? Maybe you don't need to go so far back, but at least the last 4 weeks, can you do an audit, right? Can you look at what you've spent your time on and reflect back on whether those activities actually coincide with what you had set out to do from these goals? Are there any direct parallels or are there not any parallels? Is it not congruent at all? That's the first step in really seeing if what you say you want, you're actually able to do, you're willing to do, or you're actually following with your actions, right? So take a look at your calendar, compare it to the goals you set in the first place. And as you maybe rewrite your goals and establish new goals and reflect on maybe an updated version of your goals, start looking at your calendar in the next 4 weeks and be diligent in reprioritizing your activities so that they actually match. So let's say your goal is to grow your business income, right? To bring in more abundance, more financial prosperity. But you're not taking the actions that are going to lead to that. And primarily the actions are going to be connecting with people, having conversations, interacting with your ideal clients so that you can make offers, right? It comes down to that. It's very simple. No matter what type of program you offer, if you're not talking to your ideal clients on a regular basis and extending an invitation for them to work with you, chances are that's why your financial goals are not where they need to be, simply because you may be burying yourself in a myriad of other activities. Maybe you're working on your website, maybe you're working on other things, you're creating content, but you're not actually talking to people. Chances are that's why when it comes to building your business, you haven't been able to grow your income to where you want it to be, simply because you're taking a lot of action. You're being productive, but you're not being profitable. So being able to make that distinction between profit-producing activities and being true to yourself and saying, well, I felt busy. I've seen that I've done a lot of work on my business, but I haven't made offers. I haven't spoken to people. That's probably one of the biggest things you can change. Looking into your calendar the next 4 weeks, finishing this year, prioritize talking to people. Prioritize making offers, and you're going to see how your financials are going to turn around, no matter what business you have. Now, let's talk about your health. Maybe you've wanted to get fit. Maybe you've wanted to lose weight or build muscle or get stronger. And there's literally 0 time that you're spending in your week, or very, very little time. Or the time you're spending in your health is very passive, right? I know for me personally, one of my biggest challenges was to get my 10,000 steps a day. We all know that that's a recommended marker of, oh, here's how much you should walk to get some daily movement in, on top of doing other things like aerobic exercise, weight training, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, oftentimes, as long as I reached those 10,000 steps, I felt like I had checked the box, let's say. And so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. Except I wasn't really building any muscle. I was just working out. I was just walking, which is helpful, but there's also a need for building muscle, for challenging yourself, for weight training, even doing more intense cardio exercise to also help yourself with your blood flow and your just heart rate, etc. And so what I did is I bought myself a treadmill that I'm now being able to walk under my desk. It's just a little small portable treadmill that I can put under my desk, and now I can do a lot of my work while I'm getting those steps in. So now my ceiling has become my floor, because now I can get 10,000 steps in almost every day with no effort, because I'm balancing the time that I'm doing meetings with my team. Typically I use the treadmill when I'm doing internal meetings with my team, or just doing my own strategizing, brainstorming. And then I alternate that when I'm creating content and serving clients. I kind of sit down, so I balance that out. But the bottom line is, getting those 10,000 steps no longer became an issue for me. Now it's about taking it to the next level. Now, how can I not only get those 10,000 steps in, but then get some weight training in, right? Get some cardio in. Now that's my next level frontier that I'm trying to crash through so that I can continue optimizing my health. So I'm just giving you some examples of how I've had to hack my way to getting those goals in while not having to sacrifice the other things that I had. Because I think for me, yes, I could work from my phone and get my steps in, etc., occasionally, but there's always going to be things that I still need to be in my desk, in my laptop, and like actually do on the computer. And I felt many times that I had to choose between working on my computer or getting my steps in. So that's been an amazing hack, if you will, to kind of double up my work time with my workout time. And so just giving you some examples of how you can look at your schedule and say, okay, I want to do this, but my schedule is not allowing me to do this. Where can you reduce the time you're spending on certain things to build the time for the other things that you want, right? And making that a priority, right? So a big part of this is you being able to be true to yourself around what is really important for you. If you care about those results, then you're actually going to rearrange what you're doing to make time for those things. And so thinking about your goals right now, it's also important that you try to be as specific as you can. I think one of the challenges that many creatives face when it comes to setting goals is that we put it as a pie in the sky, very unclear. We have a goal, but we don't really envision what will be the actionable steps that will get us to that goal, right? And so taking a step back and making sure that as you set those goals, you also set the process that you're going to need to take to reach that goal. So if we talked about my other example around growing your income in your business, well, yes, we can say we need to have more conversations, we need to make more offers, but if we can take it a step further now, how can you define those goals in a way that is measurable, right? You may have heard of the term SMART goals, et cetera. There's so many ways of creating goals, but the bottom line is if you don't reverse engineer the steps you're going to need to take, or at least the plan that you have to get to that goal, and you don't hold yourself accountable at each stage of that plan, and you don't measure how you're tracking towards that goal, then it'll be very difficult for you to see whether or not you're making progress. Here's the thing. Let's say you want to reach, an additional, let's say $10,000 in income next month. And you know that for you to make $10,000 in income, you need to make, let's say, 2 sales of your $5,000 program, right? And so in order to make those 2 sales, how many people do you need to talk to that are qualified, that are potential leads, that are ready for your offer in order to make those 2 sales? From those people that you talk to, how many people do you actually need to make an offer to? You see how I'm breaking it down, like very, very granularly? This is what you need to do with every goal that you set for yourself. And if you haven't done that, chances are that's why you're not where you want to be right now. So reassessing how you measure those goals, looking at the steps you need to take. Okay, you need to talk to this amount of people. From this amount of people, you should be making at least this amount of offers, right? From these amount of offers, how many people should actually become clients in your program? What is your conversion rate goal? How many would you like to enroll? Let's say you talk to 20 people. Would you like 5 of them to say yes? If 5 of them say yes, what will that look like in your business? So it's really reverse engineering the exact steps you need to take and then setting the procedures in your business to hit those goals, right? To try to hit those goals. When you have that clear roadmap, chances are you're going to be a lot more successful. Even if you don't reach those goals immediately, you're going to know what are the things you need to change, right? If you don't have a breakdown of the steps you need to take to get to those goals and you don't reach those goals, then you don't know what you're missing because you're not tracking, right? One of the things that I love encouraging my clients to do is track their outreach activities and share those and report back to us on how many, conversations are you having on a weekly basis? How much content are you posting online? Because those 2 things have been proven to be significant markers of progress, of reaching additional financial income. Same thing with your health. If you know you want to have, let's say, 3 strength trainings a week, and you want to reach those 10 steps, how are you going to get to that goal? What are going to be the markers that you're going to put in place, especially when you're feeling the resistance, which we all do? Every time you set a goal, you're going to have resistance. Think of it as going in an elevator, okay? When we go up an elevator, we're going up. What happens? The gravity is pulling us down, right? This is the way our earth works. This is the way nature works, right? And so every time you're leveling yourself up, going up higher, you're going to face resistance. There's going to be something pulling you down, whether it's your own internal limiting beliefs or it's external circumstances that happen that all of a sudden feel like the world is coming against you, pushing you to stop that goal. Let me know if this resonates with you. I mean, I know that many times I've set goals and I've said, I'm going to do this. And all of a sudden things start falling apart. Almost as if the universe is proving to you or trying to see how bad you want that goal. And it's demonstrating to you like, I'm going to put all these things in your way to deter you from that goal just to see if you really want it and if you're willing to push through those obstacles because it really matters to you. Have you ever felt that way? I know I've felt that way in many instances. So when you think about your goals and you start facing that resistance, whether it's things that happen to you or your own doubts and hesitations, checking in with that mindset and being able to really ask yourself, why am I reaching for this goal? Do I really want it? Is it really important for me? And always staying true to the deeper why is what's going to help you push through those fears or push through those external circumstances that all come against you all of a sudden, or even push through the doubts that you may have or that people around you may have. Let's talk about that for a second. When you think about goal setting, chances are, if you're like most people, you're going to need to look for people that are not in your immediate circle to support you in reaching those goals. Why? Because the people that you're familiar with, they're used to seeing you do the thing that you've always done in the way you've always done it. And so when you start doing things differently, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, it'll feel foreign to most people around you. And they'll say, wait, what are you trying to do? Why are you doing this? Where is this coming from all of a sudden? And so your ability to filter through those external hesitations or doubts, people who, not because they mean bad, they don't deliberately want to see you fail, but they just have concerns, they have doubts because they've never seen you do things differently. Those voices are going to want to come at you, and they may be from people that are really, really close to you. So part of your ability to push through those goals and get to the results you want to is being able to put your blinders on and focus on your own internal intuition, your own vision, regardless of what people around you are telling you, regardless of whether they believe you can achieve it or not. I know there have been many instances in my life where I've set out a goal, and even my husband, who's been with me for almost 30 years, he has had doubts about it. He said, how are you going to do that? I remember when I first accepted the university position at the University of North Texas, I had never taught music business in college. I had done it. I had built my own music business, and I was excited about teaching others what I had done. But even for the job position, the description of the job, I remember they wanted someone who had already taught these topics in higher education. And I remember thinking, I haven't actually done this. I haven't taught it. But I've done it, and I'm willing to break down the steps that I took to get to this process, to get this result, and maybe teach it to musicians who need it too. So it came from this desire of just passing on the knowledge and sharing my own experiences, but I had technically not built a curriculum. I did not have a step-by-step framework to teach it when I just accepted the job. And I remember my husband said, like, we're gonna move from Miami to Texas. We're gonna leave our business in Miami and invest this risk of moving our entire family. We had a 2-year-old, and you've never taught this at the university level. Are you serious? How are we gonna do this? How are you gonna teach this? And I remember thinking, I haven't done it, but I'll figure it out because I know I can transfer this. And I had to take that step of faith and just be able to say, you know what, I'm just gonna figure it out. And I did. And I built an award-winning program. We were ranked the top music business school for 5 years in a row, one of the top music business schools by Billboard magazine for each of the 5 years that I led the program from scratch, right? And so look in your life. Maybe if you're right now feeling frustrated or disappointed that you haven't yet reached your goals, go back at your story, go back at some years behind and look at moments where you have set goals and you haven't necessarily had the entire plan laid out, but you've worked out of the vision of what you wanted to achieve, and you've made bold decisions to filter the doubts around you and to say, I'm going to do this, and you've done it. Chances are you can look for a handful of examples, maybe more than that, and give yourself that vote of confidence. Chances are you also have had other examples where you haven't achieved your goals, which is also important to understand. This isn't all about success. It's also about looking at maybe things that you haven't accomplished and being able to learn the lessons from that and not let those past mistakes or past failures inform your future decisions. So as I'm encouraging you to look at goals that you've achieved, I'm also encouraging you not to ignore the goals that you haven't achieved, but to actually say, okay, I've achieved goals in this instance. What did I learn from that? And then here's the moments where I haven't achieved the goals. What did I learn from that? You see, most of the times when you have failed before, I've seen so many musicians use those past failures as evidence that they were going to fail again in the future. And they say, I'm not going to go after this goal because I've tried it in the past and it hasn't worked out. And therefore, I don't think I can pull it off. Whether it's investing in your business, whether it's investing in new networks, whether it's investing in starting something different, whether it's investing in your health, chances are if you're stuck right now, it's because you're doubting that you can succeed. And so I want to encourage you to look at past successes in your life to give you that vote of confidence. And again, it doesn't have to be just in your business. It can be in any area of your life. Trust me, you take 5-10 minutes on me after listening to this episode, you're going to find some wonderful examples that will prove to you that you can do things. Then you're going to find examples that will show you that maybe you haven't been able to do things in the past. But looking at those as data, looking at failure as information and not as proof that you cannot try it again, that's where I want to caution you, not to let the past mistakes or the past failures, quote unquote, because I don't really believe anything is failure. I think it's just data. Failure is nothing but information. But looking at that and being able to say, how can I learn from what I didn't accomplish and now take new actions towards my goals and let that serve me as fuel that will help me take better actions and do things in a new way, right? So all these things are going to come fueled by a mindset of possibility. I want to make sure that this is clear. This is not just going to happen from the tactics that I'm telling you to create measurable goals, to track your calendar, to go and check your past goals and like assess from there. All of this will be fueled. I want to wrap it up for you with your perspective. The way you see your past is going to inform the way you look at your future. Did you know that most of our memories are fabricated? Did you know that it's been proven that everything we experienced, when we recreate that memory, we bring our current perspective into that memory? Meaning, you may have memories from your childhood, and the way you are remembering that memory will change from time to time. In other words, the way you look at an event that happened now is going to change maybe in the next 5 years. In 5 years, you're going to look at that same event in your past, and you're going to look at it differently because you are in a different place. So when you realize that all of your memories from the past events are evolving and they're not fixed, then you're not going to take your events too seriously. You're not going to take your past mistakes too seriously because you're just interpreting it from who you are now. But that's going to change in the next few years. So not taking anything that you've done in the past as a fixed fate that's going to happen again is going to be so important to help you have the right mindset towards approaching your goals. So wherever you were at the beginning of 2024, I want to encourage you to reset those goals. Don't interpret anything that you haven't accomplished as failure. Instead, interpret it as information, data, and then look at what you also have accomplished. Because even though the initial idea of this episode is to realign the things that maybe fell off track, I also want to help you realign the things that did fall on track. What have you been able to achieve? Even if you hadn't initially set that goal, look at the things you've done in 2024 so far. Chances are you've done amazing things, maybe not directly in what you wanted, but maybe in other areas. So acknowledge the good, acknowledge the bad, and step into a new place of direction, leaving the things behind, taking an energy of hope, of optimism, and I guarantee you, you're going to approach your goals with a new mindset and a new action, and those new actions are going to lead to better results. Here's to finishing 2024 with the best business, the best life, and starting each and every year with an opportunity to create new goals and to take actions every step of the way to achieve them. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Share this with anyone who you think could benefit from it. And until next time, let's prosper together.